Thanks, Reyes. Good morning. It is 6:30. Reaction continues to pour in following the decision of a Bowen Island grandmother to take her own life on Monday morning. Jillian Bennett's final words on her personal website, Dead at Noon, make a passionate case for doctor-assisted suicide. The 85-year-old was in the early stages of dementia and wrote that she did not want to live or vegetate in a hospital at Canada's expense. Her family has spoken out over its heartbreak, but is confident Bennett passed away with dignity, with her husband of almost 60 years by her side. The Right to Die Society of Canada says pressure is building for legal changes in these cases. Just as UBC makes last-minute preparations for a new semester, students and the school are reacting to news that a former professor is accused of voyeurism. James Rupert is charged with secretly observing or recording nudity in a private place. Rupert is accused of placing a camera in a change room to record participants as they undressed. This reportedly happened in April. Rupert served as a UBC kinesiology professor for a decade until June, when he was charged. While teachers and the government insist they are trying to find common ground, the BC Conservative Party has some ideas for ending the strike. Gregg Harper has been following this story and joins us live from East Vancouver with more. Greg?
Good morning, Jody. I'm just outside Charles Dickens Elementary here in Vancouver this morning. This school was behind a picket line on Monday, May 26th. That's when the rotating strikes began, and here we are, still no resolution to this ongoing labor dispute. But the leader of the BC Conservative Party thinks he has some answers to resolving this dispute. Yesterday, speaking at the Vancouver Public Library, Dan Brooks unveiled what he calls a 5-point common sense plan. The Conservative leader wants the Liberal government to drop its ongoing legal battle with teachers over class size. Brooks is also proposing a 5-year contract with annual raises of 1.5% and a $2,500 signing bonus for teachers. He thinks the issue of class size and composition can be addressed with money from the province's Learning Improvement Fund.
I can't speak on behalf of the BC Teachers Federation. I'm looking for a common sense solution to this. I'm not trying to set my goal on what the Teachers Federation wants or on what the BC government wants. I'm saying that there is money in the budget to start addressing these issues.
Education Minister Peter Fassbender will be in our studio at 7:10 this morning. We will get his reaction to this. Jody?
Yes, indeed we will. Thanks so much. Gregg Harper reporting live for us this morning from East Vancouver. And despite the media blackout during the ongoing teachers' strike, the Education Minister has been addressing reporters on what parents can do in the event that school is not in session in time for September. But as the strike drags on, the province says its goal is still not to legislate teachers back to work.
My message to teachers, to parents, is we want to solve this at the table. That's why we put the program in place, that if we can't reach a solution, we will help to offset the significant impact that that has on families by providing $40 a day for every student.
BC Teachers Federation says its president, Jim Eicher, is in Kamloops today meeting with executives and teacher delegates to find a way to go forward on bargaining. BC Confederation of Parent Advisory Councils believes Monday is the deadline for a deal to be reached if classes are to start in time this fall. International news, the Obama administration is not ruling out the prospect of a military operation in Syria to bring to justice those responsible for beheading American journalist James Foley. U.S. government revealed yesterday that Obama sent special operations troops to Syria this summer on a secret mission to rescue Foley and other American hostages held by Islamic State extremists, but the hostages were not at the location intelligence had identified.
So ISIL speaks for no religion. Their victims are overwhelmingly Muslim, and no faith teaches people to massacre innocents. No just God would stand for what they did yesterday and what they do every single day. ISIL has no ideology of any value to human beings. Their ideology is bankrupt.
Last night's crowds of protesters were reportedly much smaller than they've been since the fatal shooting of an unarmed black teen by a white police officer in Ferguson. There were no fires and no shootings, and officers didn't use tear gas or mace. There were only 6 arrests. The subdued protests came after U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder visited Ferguson and met with federal officials investigating the death of Michael Brown.